All right, Larry Krueger here from the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show with a little 49er update video. The Niners needed help along the defensive line, and on this Thursday, they got it in the form of Taylor Stallworth, who signs to be one of their backup defensive tackles. Niners signed him to the practice squad. What's the deal here? Well, Eric Armstead's got plantar fasciitis. He's got a little bit of a knee problem. Javon Hargrave has got a hamstring injury that he's battling. And then Kalia Davis had a high ankle sprain in the Cardinal game, and he's going to be out for at least a month, and the Niners put him on IR. So that leaves them inside with just Kevin Givens and Javon Kinlaw, and they needed another body there. Now, they also have T.Y. McGill, who they're going to pull off their practice squad, but they probably even need more depth, and today they added to that depth, signing Taylor Stallworth, the former South Carolina star. Now, Stallworth's agent, Brett Tessler, made the announcement. He announced earlier today that the Niners have signed the defensive tackle to the practice squad. Stallworth is an interesting guy. He was released off the Titans injured reserve last month. He only played one game for the Titans, and he appeared in one game for the Texans as well, and then 6 games for the Chiefs last year. But this is a 4-year veteran, 52 career tackles, 4.5 sacks, couple fumble recoveries. And with the injuries to Kalia and Eric and Javon, the Niners really needed more help. And Stallworth's a good player going back to South Carolina. The Saints signed him as an undrafted free agent in 2018. He started his career there. He's played for the Colts, the Chiefs, the Texans, the Titans, and now obviously the 49ers. He's 28. He's 6'2", about 300 to 305 pounds in that area. Grew up in Mobile, Alabama, went to Murphy High School. As a junior there, he was named All-State. So he was a great player in high school. He committed to South Carolina, and he had a bunch of offers. Arkansas, Minnesota, Tennessee, FSU, Georgia Tech, Kentucky, Vandy, Southern Miss, Tulane. They all offered him scholarships, and he chose South Carolina. And he goes to South Carolina. He was a really good nose tackle for the Gamecocks. Just a really good person as well. He won the Unselfish Teammate Award on defense, suffered through a chest injury that caused him to miss some time in 2015. This is not a long, athletic pass rusher type guy. This guy's 6'2", sawed off, 300 pounds, very compact, very powerful frame, but he's got great body control and great handwork. I think, people said, well, why not Ndamukong Suh? Well, Chris Kasarik had Suh in Detroit, and if he really felt like Suh was a fit for the Niners, either scheme or culture or both, he probably would have signed him or would have advised John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan to sign him, sooner than this. But the nice thing about Stallworth is he's got a great personality. He's highly respected by his teammates. He's an athletic 300-pounder with great feet, good body control, really good balance. The one thing about playing in the interior, maybe one of the key factors in playing good football inside as a defensive tackle in the NFL is you must play the game on your feet. That's really the key. The difference between a guy who can play in the NFL and a guy who can't play in the NFL is, do you keep your feet in the middle of the play, or do you go to the ground a lot? Spencer Wagee is a really nice prospect for the 49ers, but the one thing we saw a lot this summer is he was knocked off his pins quite a bit, and he goes to the ground. You have to play the game on your feet, and you have to keep your feet in the midst of guys falling around you, and it's a skill, and you got to have the right balance, the right strength, the right everything. To play the game on your feet. If you watch Stallworth, he almost never goes to the ground. He's got powerful hands. He's got quick feet. He's got a really impressive spin counter move inside. He's got pass rush potential, though he's not really a pass rusher. He's not really a two-gapper, but he's a guy who can play inside and be active. He's got shorter arms. They described him coming out as a 2-gap talent, but with a 1-gap frame. In other words, he's more of he doesn't have the mass to stand in as a huge 2-gapper and take combo blocks and split them and show that kind of strength. He's more of a one-gap penetrator. But in the Niners scheme of the wide nine of get up the field, put some heat on the quarterback, play the game on your feet, and they don't rely on a two-gap scheme from their defensive tackles. So in a lot of ways, this guy's a good fit. He only had one career sack at South Carolina, so he's not really a pass rusher. He's more of an interior run defender. He's, as I said, he's not a two-gapper. He's more of a one-gap penetrating style defensive tackle. But the real key factor is this guy plays the game on his feet and is healthy now and has some experience. And at this time in the calendar, you're talking about December football, this was probably the best they could have. If you look at the breakdown of the defensive line and the snap count against the Cardinals, for example, the Niners played Nick Bosa 47 snaps. That was 47 snaps. Kinlaw played 45 snaps. Givens played 42 snaps. Chase Young played 40. Randy Gregory played 39. Cleveland Farrell played 30. T.Y. McGill played 29 snaps coming in off the bench. Kalia Davis played 13 snaps, and Robert Beal Jr. played 11 snaps. So if you look at Kalia Davis, he's going to be replacing probably, McGill's probably going to have to play significant snaps, 30 or more a game going forward. And then now without Kalia, you need somebody who can come off the bench and give you, 10 to 15 snaps at defensive tackle. The defensive line in this last game against Arizona finished with 14 total pressures, 3 sacks, and 1 quarterback hit, as well as 10 quarterback hurries. But if you looked at the way the Niners have stopped the run or not stopped the run the last couple of games, they really need more support inside. Now they're going up against a Raven run offense that even without Keaton Mitchell is going to be really, really difficult to handle. So the Niners need all hands on deck inside for this one, and now you can add Stallworth to the mix with Givens, with Kinlaw, with T.Y. McGill, and maybe this will, allow the 49ers to keep Eric Armstead and Javon Hargrave on the sideline. This is one big question for Kyle Shanahan that we may want to ask him today, which is, how do you plan to play your hands of cards with certain key defensive players that are integral to your playoff success? Dre Greenlaw comes to mind, and Eric Armstead is the other guy that really comes to mind. The Niners need Dre Greenlaw and Eric Armstead to get to the Super Bowl and win it. So do they sit him against a Ravens team despite the magnitude of this game and try to go with the Taylor Stallworths and the T.Y. McGills of the world and maybe D. Winters and Jalen Graham and Demetrius Flanagan Fowles at linebacker? Or do they try to force Armstead and Hargrave to get out there, force Kinlaw to play, or force Greenlaw to play, and then just take their chances that these guys can stay healthy or not get hurt worse and maybe get knocked out of the playoffs? It's a major question that Shanahan and Steve Wilks have on their plate here in the next 48 hours, or at least before game time on Sunday. All right, thanks to Pig in a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krug Show. Check them out in Emeryville and Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week in both spots from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out. And thanks to Underdog Fantasy for sponsoring this video. Check that link in the description. Use that promo code KRUG, K-R-U-E-G, and they'll match you up to your first $100. And thanks to all you guys for supporting the Krug Show on YouTube.